Is it time for recess yet? I'm so glad you found time to join us here on the Child Care Director's Chair, where Erica Sacoccio shares her best practices that she's refined through her passion of directing childcare centers over the last 23 years. From parenting interaction, systems to save you time, money, and stress, to profitability. She shares it all from the Child Care Director's Chair.
Hey, it's Erica here, and I've got something super exciting to share with you. If you're in the world of early childhood education, you cannot miss the Early Childhood Empowerment Conference. And I'm not just saying that. Trust me, this is where the magic happens. Over the course of 3 days, we're all about learning, connecting, and reigniting that spark that brought you into the field in the first place. And let me tell you, this conference is packed with goodness. Day one is all about leadership. We've got 5 incredible presenters who will walk you through the business side of running your program. Plus, it's more intimate, a retreat-style day with only 80 administrators, so you'll get tons of face time and an opportunity to connect. And to close out the day, a fun, hilarious comedy show and dinner with Jay Yoder from the Board Teacher Comedy Tour. He graces the stages all over the country. Day 2 is a day full-blown conference with 50 vendors, 14 amazing speakers, plus 2, not 1, but 2 keynote addresses that will leave your head full of fresh ideas. Oh, and did I mention, you can also get a free professional headshot. You can even hop on an ECE podcast and share your expertise with the world. So much fun packed into one day. And then day 3, you get to relax. We're heading over to Urban Sweat, where you can treat yourself however you want. Whether you want to unwind in a Himalayan salt cave, you want to get into a yoga class, or just enjoy a relaxing massage, you will leave totally recharged. You can book your services directly with Rafa and pick exactly what you need. So are you in? Don't miss out 3 days of empowerment, inspiration, and just pure connection with your ECE community. I can't wait to see you there, so let's do this. Links below. See you soon. Hello, welcome back to the Child Care Director's Chair podcast. If you are one of my listeners who tune in every day, thank you so very much. I love you guys so much. Our channel has grown so much in the last few months. So thank you. My heart is full of gratitude. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. Our community is amazing. So let's jump right into it. I know you don't have a lot of time. I love reading, and I don't know how often you get a chance to read. It's definitely one of the ways that I believe helps you continue to grow in your own personal development and professional development. And I don't always read about early childhood education. I read about lots of different things, and I love leadership. That's probably my favorite thing to read about. And I was reading one of Simon Sinek's books, Start With Your Why, and I really loved chapter 3. So I want to talk about it today. So for those of you who have not read this book, you should, 1, go get it. But 2, he talks about the golden circle. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about or explore the concept of why, how and what, and how you can make a difference in being more intentional and effective leader in your early childhood program. Let me break it down. It is a powerful difference between leaders who operate from the what, the how, and the why, and how you as a child care director can use this framework or thought on how you can enhance your leadership and create a purposeful, motivated environment for both your staff and your children. So let's start by understanding the golden circle framework. Simon proposes that most organizations and leaders communicate from the outside in. They start with what, like the tangible product or service, and then move to the how, the process or values. But the most inspiring leaders, he urges, start with why. What are the core beliefs that drive everything that you do? And I think about that for a second and I'm like, wow, that is really truly true. When I think about my 4 core values, they immediately come to my head, and everything that I do in my organization and in life. are all connected to those 4 core values. And as an early childhood director, applying the framework can really help you create a culture of purpose and direction, aligning your team's efforts with your vision for the center. So let's take a closer look at how you can apply the golden circle to your leadership in your early childhood program. Let's start with creating a vision with purpose. When you lead with your why, you establish a clear and compelling vision for your center, one that is deeply rooted in the belief of what you want to achieve for the children and the families that you serve. A vision centered on the why can guide everything from your center's program to your daily decisions. So what does that look like in action? Okay, as a child care director, take some time to reflect on what your core values are, what your beliefs are about early childhood education. Like, what drives you to do this work? For example, you might believe that every child deserves a strong foundation and a nurturing and inclusive environment. Or your why could be to ensure that every child is empowered to grow and learn and succeed in their early years. So when you define your why, it gives you clarity in decision making. And as a leader, when you're faced with tough choices, and we know that happens a lot, whether it's selecting curriculum, hiring your staff, or allocating your resources, you will always know if it aligns with your core purpose. And share the why with your team. Once you've been able to articulate your why, it's so important to communicate it clearly with your staff. Make your why part of your daily language and interactions. When you bring in new staff or onboard parents, make sure they understand the core mission that drives your work. You see, your team will be more engaged and motivated if they see that your work is tied to a meaningful cause. And when teachers and caregivers understand the why behind their daily tasks, they are more likely to find joy and purpose in what they do, leading to better outcomes for children, but even more importantly, sometimes better outcomes for your teaching team. I feel like as directors, we focus so much on the children and so much on the parents that sometimes our teachers are an afterthought. So it's so important that you're sharing why you're doing what you're doing in your programs. And of course, it is to serve children and families. But the catalyst for that is your teachers. And so they also need to feel some joy in the work that they're doing. And let's face it, working with children, although can be stressful, can also be fun and life-changing. Today, I just went to a bridal shower of a student who I have not had in my center for about 8 or 9 years. And she was at my center for a good 10 years. I've known this girl since she was, about 5 years old. And now here I am at her bridal shower, soon to be at her wedding in a few weeks. And, that's impactful. That's impactful. It's a culture that's driven by purpose. It's contagious. When you lead with why, it filters through everything in your center, from the attitudes of your staff to the way that you interact with families and children. Building a purpose-driven culture starts with you, the director. That spreads through your staff and your community. So make sure that you involve your team in defining the why of your center. Hold a staff meeting or retreat where everyone shares why they choose to work in early childhood education. And this could be a simple reflection activity where each educator writes down their personal why and then shares it with the group. Then work together to refine the center's why. This will help foster a deeper sense of ownership and community amongst your staff. And gosh knows, as we talk about staff retention and why folks are leaving, they're not leaving because someone down the road paid them 50 cents more, $1 more. They're leaving because they feel disconnected. They don't feel like they have a say, or they don't feel like they have any ownership. So I think it's so important, connecting with leaders. When your staff feel connected to the center's why, they are more likely to feel a sense of belonging and loyalty. And that leads to higher job satisfaction, retention, and overall engagement in their work. And you have to embed this purpose in your daily practices. So start your staff meetings with the reminder of the center's why. As you make decisions throughout the day, reference your why. Ask your team to do the same. For example, when you're discussing a new classroom setup, Remind your team how it aligns with your goal of providing a safe, welcoming, and enriching environment for all children. And leading with purpose aligns your whole team. And when everyone shares the same sense of mission, collaboration becomes much more effective, and the decision-making becomes easier because all is focused on the same ultimate goal. Now, when you have a strong why, it doesn't just help you lead, it also attracts the right people to your center. When you lead with purpose, you attract staff who share your values and are passionate about your mission. And this also helps create a more harmonious and effective team. Some actions you can take is when you're recruiting, do it with purpose. During the interviewing process, make sure you communicate your why and seek candidates whose personal mission aligns with your center's values. Ask interview questions like, why do you feel drawn to working in early childhood education? Or one of my favorites is, what is your personal belief about how children learn best? Because if you're a play-based school and the person you're interviewing is showing you pre-cut art projects in their portfolio and lots of worksheets and reputable, tracing, dittos, that might not align with the way that you teach in your school. And hiring staff who resonate with your why creates a more cohesive team. Your educators will feel aligned with the center's mission, leading to a stronger teamwork and more enthusiastic engagement in their work. Offer opportunities for staff to explore and strengthen their connection to your center's why. It can include professional development workshops that align with your core values and mission, such as learning about inclusive education, social and emotional development, play-based learning, nature-based learning. By supporting your staff's growth and aligning it with your center's mission, you not only enhance your professional skills, but you also reinforce their commitment to your shared purpose. And this leads to a higher job satisfaction. Now, this is a great way to improve communication with your parents, because when you have clear, purposeful communication with parents, it is critical to creating a strong community. When you start with your why, you help parents understand the deeper purpose behind what you're doing for their children. And this strengthens your trust and encourages collaboration. So start with your why. When meeting with parents, lead with your center's why. For example, our center is committed to fostering a love of learning in every child, which is why we focus so heavily on play-based activities. Help them see the connection between what their child is doing and why it matters for their development. Communicating your why to parents builds transparency. It builds trust. Parents are more likely to feel confident in your center and become active participants in their child's learning journey. And when that happens, you know you're doing a great job. Some ways that you can do this is create some materials with purpose. Develop newsletters and flyers or emails that focus not just on the activities that the children are doing, but why the activities are important for their growth. For example, instead of just saying, the children are practicing letters, say, the children are practicing letters today to build early literacy skills, which are the foundation to reading and writing. See the difference? By framing communication around your why, parents feel more connected to your center's educational philosophy. They gain a deeper understanding of how your curriculum supports their child's development. It also helps you create a long-term, meaningful change. When you start with your why, it creates meaningful change rather than temporary fixes or surface-level changes. When you continuously reference your why, you stay true to your mission, and you avoid getting distracted by trends or short-term pressures. Here are some actions you can take. Evaluate decisions. When you're considering new programs or policy changes at your center, ask yourself, how does this align with our why? Whether it's adopting a new curriculum or implementing a new behavior management strategy, ensure that every decision reflects your core beliefs. A leader who consistently leads with why demonstrates integrity and long-term vision. It shows that you're committed to the center's mission and are not swayed by external pressures. You want to develop a strategic plan for your center that aligns with your why. For example, if your why revolves around providing high-quality early childhood education, then set long-term goals around improving staff qualifications, expanding program offerings, or increasing community partnerships. You see, the long-term goals that reflect your why ensure sustainable growth for your center. It's a proactive approach that aligns your team's work with the bigger picture, leading to more impactful and purpose-driven center. So as we wrap it up with some reflective questions to help you integrate the golden circle into your leadership, you might want to ask yourself this: how does your why drive your decisions and your actions? Write it down and revisit it often to remind yourself of your purpose. You can share your why more effectively with your staff and your parents. Reflect on your communication strategies and think about how you can make the why central to your interactions. How can you help your staff connect with their personal why at the center? Consider ways to encourage reflection and discussion around the why during staff meetings and training sessions. And ask yourself, what small changes can you make today to align your decisions and actions with your why? Whether it's in a staff meeting, with a parent, or in your next program update, how can you lead with why to inspire your team and your community? So that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this episode has inspired you to think deeply about your why and how you can transform your leadership as a childcare director. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, or share it with a fellow educator. Until next time, remember, great leadership starts with why.
Well, all the cute little kiddos have been picked up and it's time to go home. And that'll do it for another episode of the Child Care Director's Chair. Please leave a review so Erica knows the information is helping you to manage and improve your childcare centers. Remember to subscribe to get the latest episode from Erica's Child Care Director's Chair.